Turn the air off. We get hot.
$2 minutes. Where's everybody at?
That's a good question.
I put out live, check Facebook.
Right. I got a notification on my watch that you guys went live.
Just see that one.
Let me look just to double check. For live casting, you have 3 whole people watching.
I got 4 now, too.
Glad to be counted. Live casting, you have 3 whole people.
Oh, wow. Hey, Kaz, I want to mute it.
Good evening and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of June 22nd, 2021. Ms. Brake, please call the roll.
Committeewoman Erickson.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Committeeman Wright.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Delcor.
I am here.
Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Administrator Ferrera.
Here.
Attorney Willard.
Here.
Attorney Bernstein.
Here.
Please join me in salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's almost normal again. This is great.
Please be advised that in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, that the notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 6 p.m. on June 22nd, 2021. We have no minutes to approve at this time, so we do have some committee liaison reports, and we will start, as always, with Committeewoman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone.
I'd help if I pulled that over, right?
Okay, to begin with, we have a message from the building department. The Hillsborough Building Department commonly is asked, do I need a certificate of occupancy for the resale of a residential property? The answer is no. The Hillsborough Building Department does not issue a CO for the resale of a residential property. You must call the Fire Safety Department at 908-369-5856 to schedule a smoke detector certification inspection. The Engineering Department would like to remind property owners that any construction project that requires digging into the ground must call the "Call Before You Dig 811 call center to have all underground utilities marked out before construction. These markouts consist of colored flags and/or colored wearable paint on the street or in your front yard. Utilities are not only in the street, but they can also be within the right-of-way, which is the first 10 to 20 feet of a front yard within the grass area. Sometimes residents contact the engineering office when they notice these flags in their front yard. Many times the resident or neighbor is installing a fence, a swimming pool, addition, or a small project, and the contractor has marked, or the contractor is called the 811 markout number. It is the law to call prior to digging of any kind. The attached picture indicates the colors for each utility. Residents with questions about a specific markout may wish to reach out to 811 or visit their website at nj1-call.org. Lastly, from the Recreation Department, the Family Campout and Fishing Derby are back by popular demand. Taking place on August 6th, the campout includes dinner, snacks, games, a movie under the stars, camping in the park, and breakfast the next morning. The Fishing Derby is a separate fee from the campout and is open to anyone aged 14 and under. You do not have to go to the campout to take part in the Fishing Derby. These programs are more open for registration on our website, www.hillsboroughNJrecreation.org. And that is all for me.
Thank you. Committeeman Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things from me. First, despite the lifting of most restrictions, the New Jersey judiciary is still mandating municipal courts be held virtually. So please, if you have a ticket and wish to come to court, you'll need to contact the court officer to arrange that, or visit the court webpage on the Township website for more detailed information. From our police department, just a reminder to Township residents not to leave their pets in their cars unattended, especially during days with extreme heat. If you come across a pet that is stuck in a hot car, please call the police. If you can't, immediately summon the owner. From our health department, just a reminder that as part of the sustainability efforts here in the Township, the health department has developed a lead education outreach program. Please look for information on the health department page of the Hillsborough Township website to learn more about lead poisoning and lead safety. From COVID-19, the health department will sponsor another COVID-19 vaccination clinic on Thursday, June 24th from 4 to 7 at the municipal building. We'll be offering the J&J vaccine for those ages 18 and up. Walk-ins are welcome. And also, the Health Department has conducted clinics for second vaccinations at the municipal building on Saturday, June 12th, and at Reckitt Benckiser and J&J Steel Tubing on June 18th. Any industrial site or business here in the township that would like to set up a vaccination clinic at their facility should contact the Health Department at 908-369-5652. And last, from our sustainability department, with the recently passed legislation mandating the banishment of all single-use paper and plastic bags taking effect of May 2022, local Hillsborough High School student Visha Farah is looking for responses from consumers to her survey on businesses' sustainable packaging. Her goal is to speak with elected county officials to show that consumers do value sustainable packaging and wants an eco-friendly environment. Please note that your personal information will not be shared. You can see tomorrow's mayor's e-newsletter for links to that survey. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works, Hillsborough Township Clean Communities wants to thank all volunteers who participated in the plogging event held on Saturday, June 12th. Most of the plogging activities centered around the Triangle Road area and surrounding areas. Some of these items found during the event were food wrappers, containers, ice pop wrappers, coffee cups, plastic bags, plastic water bottles, aluminum cans, mini liquor bottles, newspaper, shredded cardboard, discarded face masks, and PPE, as well as cigarette butts. Clean Communities would like to remind residents to dispose of your trash responsibly and practice carry in, carry out procedures at parks and sporting events. For those of you who are still unsure what plogging is, it is a movement that started in Sweden that is a combination of picking up litter and jogging. This fitness craze has spread throughout Europe and is now a popular activity in the US. Plogging is a great way to help the environment while improving your own health. In fact, plogging burns about 22% more calories than jogging alone. So residents are encouraged to form their own plogging group to keep this movement going. So grab your running shoes, a trash bag, a pair of gloves, and head out into the neighborhood or anywhere you like to jog, walk, or exercise. Also, a reminder to residents that the registration for our annual cleanup program is ongoing on the community pass through to the end of October. Dates are filling up. If you are unable to keep the date you registered for, please email the office to cancel your registration. This will allow someone else to register for the new date. If the site is closed, please do not dump debris in front of the gate. This is illegal dumping, which carries a fine up to 90 days, as well as $1,250 fine. For more information on Hillsborough Township Clean Communities and to register for events, visit our website at hillsborough-nj.org, Clean Communities. Thank you for making a difference and being a litter hero. Thanks.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Deputy Mayor Delcor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple items tonight. American Farmland Trust is conducting their 12th annual farmers market celebration. I think those of you that are aware of the town, we have some wonderful farm markets here in Hillsborough, but one of Hillsborough's own Duke Farm Market is actually involved in a survey with American Farmland Trust to determine who's the best farm market nationwide. So if you'd like to participate and help Duke's Farm become a leader in this in the nationwide survey they're doing, please vote. It's at markets.farmland.org. The voting will close on September 19th of 2021. And for those of you that may not be familiar with the Duke Farm Market, it's open on Sundays from 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. It runs from May through December, and they offer a variety of local produce, beets, jams, egg soup, more. So if you have any other questions about what they offer, please visit their website, dukefarms.org/market, or their Facebook page. At the last meeting, we actually had a presentation that was for the benefit of a wonderful local organization called Borough Safe, which is a suicide awareness and prevention organization formed here in town. We have the annual Jason's Run, which is upcoming. That's going to be held on August the 29th at 9 p.m. 9 a.m. And that's to celebrate the legacy of Jason Walton, a Hillsborough athlete, track and field athlete who died by suicide. His mother, Linda Walton, formed this run to help bring suicide awareness to the community here and to continue her son's legacy. So again, the race will take place August 29th at 9 a.m. here at the Municipal Building. It starts and ends here. We'll hope you'll come out and support this very worthy cause and help with suicide awareness. You can register in advance at runsignup.com, or you're also able to sign up here at the Municipal Building on race day. If you are like me and you've had to spend more of your work time at home as opposed to in the office, you've probably accumulated some paperwork that you need to start shredding. Well, we've got good news for you. Operation Secure Shred is coming to our county here. That's run by Somerset County, and it's going to be held on this Saturday, June the 26th. That's at the Franklin Township Sewerage Authority at 70 Commerce Drive in Somerset. That'll run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or until the trucks are filled to capacity, and it will be a rain or shine event. So if you have some shredding, it is a secure process. You can bring your documents in. They get unloaded, locked into a truck, and shred right on the truck on premises. You should be prepared to bring a current driver's license, a valid lease, or anything that shows proof of county residence. So pre-registration is not required. I can tell you the lines do get long, so if you want to come out, try to get out early, because it does tend to back up. A lot of people have a lot of shredding that need to get done. You can also visit the county website at co.somerset.nj.us/shredding for more information. And finally, as we are approaching that Independence Day, there's a lot of opportunity for fireworks. There are certain fireworks that are now legal in New Jersey, so please be mindful of safe practices when shooting off fireworks on your property. Try to avoid shooting them off near homes or decks or sheds or trees or wooded areas or areas around mulch that might set fire. And finally, make sure you keep your fireworks away from children and soak any used fireworks in water before throwing them in the garbage to avoid any additional fire issues that might occur from the fireworks residue. So we hope you enjoy yourself. It'll be a wonderful Independence Day, but please be safe. That's all from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Kind of piggybacking off that a little bit. So our Family Fun Day is just a few days away. Join us this Saturday, June 26th, beginning at 5 p.m. as we celebrate Hillsborough Township's 250th anniversary with games, prizes, food, and inflatable slides and other attractions. Music begins at 7 p.m. with the Journey Tribute Band Frontiers, followed by fireworks after dark. Shuttle buses from Hillsborough Middle School and the Hillsborough High School will be available beginning at 5 p.m. And we all look forward to you all being part of our community and celebrating both the 4th of July and our anniversary of 250 years. And another happy announcement is after a year hiatus, the Rotary Fair will return this summer. So the Entering Rotary and Business Expo will once again transform Hillsborough Promenade into a classic carnival with a colorful midway, over 20 amusement rides, games of chance, fireworks, food vendors, and exposition of local businesses. The Rotary Fair will be open 5 days beginning Tuesday, August 17th. Fair hours are 6 to 10 p.m. on Tuesday through Thursday and 6 to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. In addition to the fair's classic thrill rides, food vendors, games of chance, and exposition of local businesses, a spectacular fireworks display by Interstate Fireworks will be sponsored by Petrox Bar and Grill and Petrox Liquors. They will lay up the sky on Friday evening, approximately 10 p.m. on August 20th. The next date, August 21st at 10 p.m. will be the rain date. So as a Rotarian, I'm kind of proud that we're able to bring that back. And it will be a one price pay for the entire time. So it'll just come in. It'll be touchless. There'll be wristbands given. So you just kind of walk through. You don't have to worry about any kind of excess touching and social distance will be avoided or observed, I should say, as usual. But stay connected as always. You can stay connected with all events and more via the Wednesday e-newsletter. Be sure to follow and like the official Hillsborough Township Facebook page and Twitter, TV29, and the Hillsborough YouTube channels. They showcase our meetings and Hillsborough The Good Life episodes and Hillsborough alerts for traffic and emergency notifications. We do have a few proclamations to present at this time. I will call each recipient up, and after receiving your recognition and posing for a picture, we ask that you please return to your seat. We will pause after all recognitions and presentations to follow for your departure. So again, we're going back to pre-COVID. We're going to go down and actually read them instead of me reading them all up here and then go down and take the picture. So one step closer to normalcy. So let me come down and we'll start.
The way it's supposed to be.
The way it's supposed to be.
Hair feels good, man.
So first up is our Hillsborough High School senior, Yosef Al-Rahim. Is he here? Al-Rahim?
Ali.
Close? All right. So I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to take it, and we'll take some pictures. So, whereas Hillsborough High School senior Yosef Al-Rahim was nominated, selected as a semifinalist and ultimately a finalist for the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program, and whereas scholars are selected on the basis of superior academic and artistic achievements, leadership qualities, strong character, and involvement in community and school activities, and whereas 160 finalist candidates were selected from 600 students in the final round, and Yosef was one of the 4 from New Jersey and the first ever from Hillsborough High School. And whereas generally finalists would receive a trip to Washington, D.C. to attend the ceremony and be presented with medallions from the Department of Education and from the President. However, the ceremony will be held virtually this year. And whereas Yosef is a member of the National Honor Society, National Art Honor Society, and French Honor Society, he will be attending Northwestern University, double majoring in mechanical engineering and astrophysics. Here's something easier. Whereas Yosef is a Westbridge National College Match finalist, president and founder of Help Ball, and was selected to represent New Jersey in the Down Under sports track and field team. And whereas Yosef volunteers at the Rosella charity organization, Yemen Crisis, Virtual House Party, Silverhawk Home Health Care Center, Jason's Run, Tap Tutoring, and Human Food Stamp Club, Jersey City Chapter. That's a lot of stuff. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the mayor and Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby congratulate Yosef Al-Rahim for his selection as a U.S. Presidential Scholar. Mom and Dad, come on up. Yeah. Family, anyone who was here with you? I'll get this out of the way. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
First of all, thank you all so much for being here today. And I would obviously like to thank Mom and Dad for always being here for me. You all definitely think that I'm really smart and super nice, but they see the bad side of me. And they see when I get angry and frustrated, and they see all the things. So I want to thank them for being super, super lenient and being always here for me and always forgiving me when I get mad at them. I also want to thank my sister for always being here for me. She's the best. And obviously my middle school teachers who helped me transition from a culture that's the opposite of the US, Saudi Arabia. Moving here was super, super stressful. I didn't have any friends. The culture was extremely different. The school system was extremely different. And I felt really helpless. Even my family couldn't even help me. And you guys were my second family, and you helped me a lot. And I just can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, Mr. Han, Ms. Hannah, Ms. McMahon. Thank you so much.
That was a tough one to follow.
Yeah.
All right. William Hunt, Teacher of the Year. All right? Yeah. All right. I'll make a stand. Whereas retired Hillsborough Middle School teacher William Hunt was nominated by his student Yosef Abedin and selected as a U.S. Presidential Scholar Program Distinguished Teacher, and whereas teachers are selected on the basis of the student's candidate submission of a statement that was their most influential teacher, and whereas William Hunt was Yosef's 8th grade history teacher and had a profound impact on him in his first year in the United States, and whereas William Hunt encouraged Yosef to share and educate his fellow classmates about his Islamic religion, and whereas William Hunt provided a judgment-free, welcoming, safe environment for Yosef to become self-expressive and confident, and whereas William Hunt taught 7th, 8th grade social studies, 8th grade reach, and ESL push-in at Hillsborough Middle School for 16 years, and whereas William Hunt recognized the willingness to learn, strong character, and work ethic in Yosef, and foster those attributes in the classroom as only an exceptional educator can. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby congratulate William Hunt for his selection as a U.S. Presidential Scholars Program Distinguished Teacher.
Nephew.
We're good now.
Yusef, you were probably the brightest student I've ever taught, and made me think a lot about my childhood and things that I learned growing up. And your situation was very unique, and that your family sacrificed so much to come here. And I know how deeply you missed your father when he was home or in Saudi Arabia still. And I couldn't imagine being in your position, being separated from your father. And recently my father passed away, and I can only imagine the position you were in. And admirably, he honored your sacrifice as his son. And if my kids are like you one day, I'll be very proud.
Awesome.
Man, they just get tougher. There's tissues going around. All right, we'll keep it a little lighter now. Something that we're all very proud of here behind me is our Hillsborough Parks and Rec Department. Please come on up. Whereas the Hillsborough Parks and Recreation Department received several awards at the 2021 New Jersey Recreation and Park Association Annual Awards Dinner, and whereas Hillsborough Parks and Recreation Department received a Category A Marshall Parks and Historic Resources Award for their Go Green for Halloween program, and whereas the Parks and Recreation Department also received a Health and Wellness Programming Award for their Spring COVID Challenge program that included a virtual clue game and 88.5K virtual run. And whereas the Parks and Recreation Department further received the Agency Showcase Award or a flyer or poster for the summer camp COVID guidelines. And whereas the Director of Parks and Recreation, Bob Wagner, Assistant Director of Recreation, Griffin Dunn, Program Coordinator, Jessica Gonzalez, Recreation Assistant, Russell Suris, and Administrative Assistant, Annette Henderson, all rose to the challenge to create unique COVID-compliant programming during the global pandemic. And whereas the Park and Recreation Department continues to provide excellent programs for the township's youth and adults, and greatly contributes to Hillsboro's designation as best place to live. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee, congratulate the Hillsborough Parks and Recreation Department for the 3 awards and commend them on the original and outstanding programs provided during this difficult year.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say a few quick words. Through this team's hard work, dedication, and execution during unprecedented times with the COVID situation last year really shined through. I think it's quite evident in the 3 awards that we got from our professional group in the keeping in the hockey theme. We got the hat trick, Mayor, and we couldn't have done it without the team that's up here. So I want to thank each one individually for their hard work and continued support. So thank you.
We're good. Thanks, everybody. So that concludes our proclamations and awards. So if you'd like to go home, you're more than welcome. If you'd like to stay and listen to us, you're more than welcome. So we'll take a brief 5-minute pause. Thank you all. Hillsborough, New Jersey, celebrating 250 years of a rich history. Hi, I'm Mayor Sean Lapani, and I'm proud to showcase Hillsborough, one of the best places to live in America. From the preserved farms that help feed the world, to the Vanderveer House, to the John R. Stott's house, restored and currently utilized for business, to the magnificent and world-famous Duke Farms, where you can walk or ride a bike through their historic grounds, to the iconic Neshannock Reformed Church, and just down the road is our fabulous Neshannock Mill, located right on the picturesque Raritan River. You're invited to visit Hillsborough, a great place to live, work, play, and do business anytime. And experience over 250 years of proud history in Hillsborough, New Jersey. Any public comment on new business and matters not on the agenda, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record as usual, and make your comment.
Good evening. Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. A few years ago, I had obtained an informational sheet from the township that stated that it's the police who handle criminal investigations. I'm a Hillsborough Township property owner. I'm a Hillsborough Township property tax payer, and I am a resident of the United States, and I am entitled to the protection of the law. I submitted letters and documents to Hillsborough Township Police Chief Michael McMahon, and to this date, I have not received any kind of response. I filed a complaint because I was a victim of the criminal act of fraud. I presented records, letters, documents, and my letters have been totally ignored. So I don't know if that's the policy of the Hillsborough Township Police Department to totally ignore complaints, or when someone submits a complaint, to just totally ignore it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, it's not our decision to be had. You know, we don't know what the situation is at the investigation, so we can't comment.
Okay, well, I just would like to know, I want to put it on the record that I was ignored by the Hillsborough Township Police Department. Specifically, I had sent my letters to Police Chief Michael McMahon, and to this date, I have not received a written response. The other question I have is in regard to Block 86, Lot 21. I see that there's a resolution today for Block 86, Lot 21.01.
So then you can't ask that it's on the business, so new business not on the agenda.
However, that resolution is showing that that property is being sold to Concord Street Urban Renewal, and the prior information resolutions state that it's supposed to be sold to RPM developers. So that's another question that needs to be answered. Thank you.
We've answered that.
I'm just, do we need to answer questions 47 times or is it 50? I
think
can't really recall.
Anyone else on new matters, non-business today? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on. Our next thing will be our budget presentation. I would like to invite our CFO, who is up here already, Nancy Costa, to present our 2021 budget. And the show is yours. Hit the roll.
Sarah, sorry. Sarah. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Welcome, everyone.
Just pull the mic in front of
Okay.
people at home.
Ready. Sarah?
Give me the sign off.
Thank you. 2021 municipal budget totals $32,897,668, and it'll be funded with $12,436,761 in anticipated revenues and a tax levy of $40,469,007. The increase in this year's tax ratables will result in our municipal tax rate dropping to 31 cents per $100 of assessed value. The tax levy and the state aid provides 72% of the revenues in this budget. Items such as licenses, permits, shared services, and court fines provide additional revenues. As the growth within the township continues, our UCC fees are being collected and providing 6% of the revenues in this budget. 2020 shows a significant increase in UCC fees, and the trend has continued into 2021. In addition, interest income investments, as well as fees and permit revenues, have increased. The township continues to maintain shared service agreements for 2 municipal courts, as well as health services with Millstone Borough. Due to the conservative budgeting during the 2020 COVID crisis, the township saw no significant revenue losses. Unlike many of our neighboring towns, we were very fortunate with this budget. If a municipality wishes to increase their tax levy by more than the 2% cap, they can do so by adding additional costs of mandated pension contributions, health insurance costs, pension obligations, and deferred charges. In this year, we could have gone to almost $800,000 above our tax levy cap. And again, we utilized zero. Since the inception of the 2% levy cap, which was in 2011, the township could have increased our taxes by $3.6 million using all of those exceptions, but again has chosen not to. This year's tax levy increase is 1.99%, just slightly lower than the 2% allowable tax levy increase. In 2021, 25% of our budget expenditures will go towards public safety, 15% for public works, 14% for other departments, and 14% for insurance and benefits. This budget appropriates a total of $1.1 million into the capital improvement fund, which will help us fund future capital purchases. As part of the township's debt reduction plan, we continue to pay off debt at a a greater rate than what we are legally required to. We save interest and we pay our debt down faster by doing so. The state's mandated employer contributions for pensions saw an increase of $370,580 this year. And who could forget the series of snow events we experienced this year, which increased our budget by $385,000. This chart shows the trend in the four major components of our tax rate: school, county, municipal, and the fire district. School taxes make up 66.6% of our tax rate. The county 17.1%, the township 13.3%, and the fire district 1.8%. And our required open space taxes are 1.2% of our tax rate annually. The township's rateable tax base increased this year by added assessments for new construction and our ongoing annual reassessment program. This provides a larger total assessed value base over which our tax levy can be distributed, which this year resulted in a tax decrease from 0.316 to 0.31. So on a home valued at $350,000, your municipal portion of the taxes will drop to $1,085 this year. And that concludes my presentation. The full budget document and this presentation will be on the website tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Ms. Costa.
Thank you, Mayor.
I will hold my additional comments to the consent agenda, which will be at the end of the meeting as usual, where there will be a resolution adopting the 2021 budget. Want to say anything there now?
Oh,
We
we
can
can bring it
reserve-
up later.
Okay. All right, thank you. Only one more to do, right, for you? One more
Maybe
budget?
two.
Maybe two?
Yes, real nice.
Okay, so we will first go into our first public hearing of 2021-11, ordinance to exceed the 2021 municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. As indicated, this ordinance was introduced under the state budget law. The unused portion of the appropriations cap, which is different than the tax levy cap, may be reserved to be available in the next 2 years. Each year since 2002, Hillsborough has been able to reserve some funds in the cap bank. The cap bank has no impacts on taxes. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2021-11?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any discussion from the dais on this application, this ordinance? No? Okay, comments from the floor?
Hi, Meryl Bisberg, 4 Hickory Hill Road. The cap bank is part of the budget, and there is a page in the budget. I realize that that's about the budget, but since the ordinance for the cap bank is now, and the amount is determined now, I just want to mention that it's shown that the cap bank was $109,000 in 2018, went to $581,000 in 2019, that's $763,000, and now we're proposing $984,846. Was there any consideration to keeping this lower? Or
The section that you just referred to is the tax levy cap. We're discussing the appropriations, which is completely different, and it's on a different page in the budget document that you have. So the section that you're looking at would be numbers we could use to increase the tax levy to the residents of the township. The cap ordinance that we're doing right now pertains to the appropriation, the expenditures, and is different from the sheet that you're looking at.
okay. Can you explain how that cap bank relates to
The
expenditures?
appropriations?
Yeah.
Sure. So each year, last year's appropriations, the inside the cap ones, if you multiply that by 2.5%, that's what you're allowed to go up from the following year, and you add in the cap bank from the prior year. So at the end of the day, and you'll see it in the budget document you have on page 3B, we could have actually spent over $29 million this year, but we didn't, and that would have included using cap banks from prior years.
I understand that. I guess
Right.
the question is, in order to determine what you're going to be able, what you want to use for appropriations, you have to have some idea of your budget. So there is some relationship, right?
We go through our budget with what we necessarily have to increase it by, and then, again, if we had had some kind of extraordinary expenses we had to include this year, we would have pulled money out of these cap banks to allow us to do that. But we chose not to. In the 17 years I've been here, we've never chosen to use the cap bank. We always stay under what we're allowed to.
Right, I guess that's my point. If we haven't needed to use the cap bank, should we be planning for it to grow every year?
After 2 years, it drops off. It doesn't accumulate year after year. Like right now, we have 2019 and 2020. 19 will drop off at the end of the year, and we'll have the 1.1 million from 2020 and the 658,000 from this year going into next year. So next year, in theory, we could increase our budget by $1.7 million if we had some kind of extraordinary expenditure that we had to. But each year, we only keep 2 years in the bank, and the third year will always drop off the following year.
Okay. Again, it is increasing though, even though it drops off
Mhm.
overall.
Correct.
So that's my only point. We haven't used it and the numbers are increasing.
What's increased by your ratables, right, and value of the.
Well,
No, this is the expenditures.
Right.
I think we need a broader discussion of what the purpose of the cap bank is. The purpose of the cap bank was when they originally enacted the legislation limiting the amount municipalities could raise in taxes. Some people said, well, wait a second, that's not fair. If I don't raise mine at all, and I don't raise my levy at all, and another government raises theirs 2% every single year, and then all of a sudden 1 year I need money, and I need to go over to 2%, I get penalized for that? That's not right. So they put in this cap bank. And the cap bank lets you to bank those years, and then like Nancy says, they fall off. So all you're doing is banking it. You're not necessarily using it.
Yeah, this was an intense discussion in 2011. It was with Governor Christie, Steve Sweeney. I'm glad you remember, but you're still asking questions on it. So it's just Steve Sweeney and then Lieutenant Governor with Speaker Oliver. They had intense discussions on this because, to our counselor's point, there was great concern that you'd be penalized because you budgeted to the absolute dollar. As you know, our state budget's the same way, and they do the same thing, except they just put it in the supplemental fund and just do it that way.
And I can tell you,
It's just
every
smart.
single municipality, our firm represents a number of municipalities. Every single municipality that I know of does this. Everyone.
No, I understand that.
And they do it to the max they can. Every single one.
Because God forbid there's something like a pandemic.
565
Doesn't budget
municipalities,
for
I
it.
bet you every single one adopts the same ordinance.
Luckily, we didn't have the same situation with the pandemic, but I know our neighbors to the north and to the south both had issues blowing through their budgets, but we budgeted better.
I'm just saying it's 11
Much
years
better.
later now, and these numbers are, have really grown. And I understand the need for capping. I'm just trying to understand the amounts. So.
Okay, thanks, Mel.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. I had requested at the last, I don't know if it was the May meeting, in May, a copy of the budget. So I was given this, and today I'm seeing this. So this is like 2 times the size of what I was given. So I don't have a chance to do a comparison since I just got this today. So I don't know why I wasn't given the
Mayor,
full
are we
budget.
talking about the cap bank?
Yeah, we're still at.
This is on the cap bank, not the budget.
Okay.
Do you have a question on the cap bank?
Well, because I don't know if there's information on the cap bank.
No, it's
entities.
just extending the cap bank. Do you have a question on the cap bank?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know if I understood everything clearly.
Oh.
If there, what is authorized 2.5%, why does it have to go to 3.5? If we're good with money from previous years, why do you have to go to 3.5%? Why can't you just keep it at the 2.5?
We did not go to 3.5%. We actually are under the 2.5%. It's just a logistical ordinance that has to be done, saying if we have to, we can. And that whatever we choose not to do can lapse over into the next year. But we did not go up 3.5% this year.
Okay, all right.
We went up actually less than 2.5.
All right, because in the one paragraph, now therefore be it ordained, and saying here, be increased by 3.5%, amounting to 658,453. So that's, you're not increasing it by 3.5?
Absolutely not.
So what is it actually?
It's less than 2. The appropriations are increased by less than 2.5%.
All right. So what is the purpose then of this talking about this 3.5%?
So that the difference between what we went up and what we could have gone up goes into a bank in case we have extraordinary expenses next year that we need to go above the 2.5 or the 3.5%. It's a rainy day fund, basically.
So you're actually going to be having this amount of 658, just that 658,000 plus, but you're not using it, you're banking it?
Correct.
All right, and that would be the 3.5% that we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that's what I'm asking is why do you have to go to 3.5? Why can't it stay at 2.5 and have that lesser amount banked?
Because the ordinance as designated by the state of New Jersey says do it for 3.5% in case you have an extraordinary expense in the following year.
So that's
Like a pandemic.
That's the way the law reads.
That's the state?
I just want to be clear, though. Whether it's 2.5 or 3.5, it doesn't affect the budget. We're not spending that money. It allows us to bank it so that in the event of an emergency, we have that money at our disposal. Because we did not increase our actual expenditures to the level we were permitted, as the counselor indicated, we don't want to be penalized, or we shouldn't be penalized in the future in the event of an extraordinary expenditure is needed. So that's why the bank is there. And so you could quibble whether it's 2.5 or 3.5, but we're banking the amount allotted so that in the event of an emergency, or as our CFO noted, a rainy day fund, we have that money that would be available to us within the budget.
So in what account does this rainy day money go? What would that be under this money? What is that, where is that kept? What account?
It doesn't go anywhere. It's not money.
It's not money.
There's no money going anywhere.
It's the ability
It's the
to
ability to use it if you need to.
spend at some point.
All right, so then where is this
We're not
recorded?
collecting.
In the budget?
No, it's not part of the
It's
budget.
not part of the budget.
Where do you record this amount that this would be available in the event that it's needed?
It's just recorded in the
For this
budget document
resolution.
and carried forward to the following year.
So it's recorded in the budget document?
It's on page 3B, yes,
3B, all
of the
right.
budget document. And can I just make a quick comment to save a little time later? The reason the document tonight is bigger is because the first one you got is double-sided, and our copy machine broke at 5:30, so you have a single-sided budget.
Okay,
So the
thank you.
one you got the other day is 43 pages, the one you got today is 86. That's why it's so much
I was
smaller.
just
Okay,
going to say
that's
that. I
the best
could see it
answer we
was
could have
double-sided.
heard.
Very
That
good,
is
thank
literally
you.
the best answer.
Thank
Very
you, because
welcome.
I didn't have time to look through all of this stuff when I
Not a
got.
problem. It's
Thank you.
exactly
just
identical to the last document that you
Killed more
have.
trees.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. May I have a motion to close public hearing and adopt ordinance 2021-11?
I'll second.
We have a motion from Mr. Wright and Mr. Thompson. Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Erickson.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Committeeman Wright.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dwyer.
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. 2021-13, ordinance amending Chapter 92, Police Department, Article 2, Establishment and Organization, Section 92-7, Membership of the Code of Township of Hillsborough County, Somerset State, New Jersey, to increase the not-to-exceed amount of the police department membership. Further consideration of this ordinance and public hearing will be held on July 13th, 2021. May I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Diaz?
Mayor, just,
Okay, but just-
I just wanted to give a quick overview of the reason we have been speaking with Chief, Committeeman Thompson, myself as police liaisons, looking at the police needs. We do have a number of retirements that will be upcoming in the near term before the end of the year, and we're looking to bring out some additional officers as well as there'll be some overlap. So we need to make sure that we have sufficient room in the ordinance. That does not mean we'll be hiring to the total amount. It just allows us the flexibility for timing purposes to increase the police force, and we will be increasing it slightly down the road.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Comments from the floor? Seeing none. Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Erickson.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Committeeman Wright.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dwyer.
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. We move on to our consent agenda. Items 1 through 9. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Comments from the dais. I have a couple. If I just do a little mayoral task force here. First of all, on the 2021 budget, as Ms. Costa said, it's really a direct reflection of the staff in this building, both Ms. Costa, her staff, Anthony Ferrara, and the rest of the people here. That not to have a revenue reduction even during the pandemic is no small feat. We were able to be open, thus generating revenue and not becoming fiscally unsound. It's obviously very evident that with our staff here and our township first, people first mentality, that even amongst, we'll call it a rainy day, we didn't need the rainy day fund. We are actually able to have a very fiscal budget. And I thank to all of our employees and our finance team also for coming up with a great budget. And I would also like to ask if our finance liaisons would like to add anything to that, since they were part of it.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Or yes, go ahead, Mr. Wright.
Yeah, I would, I'd like to ask about consent item 6. And just a little point of clarification. I understand that that is a piece of property that we did sell off for $1. Now, as I understand it, this deal was structured way before my time, but this is which pretty much settles our fair share housing obligation.
No,
So
that's only one part of our fair share.
I was under the impression this property was going to be like 87 low income. One was going to,
First of all, it's phase one of two.
okay.
It's 86 or 88, sorry. Affordable housing, which is not all low income, it's low, moderate, and medium income, fair share housing. This is only one part of our piece. The advantage of this piece was that we didn't have to build 400 units to make this 88 units. So this was an area deemed in need of redevelopment, which we were able to, through the planning process and our attorney, find a suitable person to apply to the state to get a grant, because that's what they need for 100% affordable.
Awesome.
And I'll read it. So this is phase one of two phases. It was designated as Concord was designated redeveloper of the property on March 26, 2019. The subdivision and site plan for the project were approved by the planning board on September 5th of 2019.
Okay.
The sale of this property to Concord marks the final step in that process for them to start building phase one, which is one part of our very large, complex, affordable housing. I won't call mandate. I guess that's improper. That's plan. How's that? Is that better,
Sounds great.
Counselor? So that is part of what that is.
Great. And thank you for that clarification. I think that's a great thing.
Okay. Anyone else from the dais on anything?
I just would like to make a quick comment. That being my first time sitting on the board and having the chance to be part of the finance committee, working with Nancy on the budget, I really appreciate the opportunity. It was a rather painless for me because you did all the work, and again agreed with what the mayor says, that it's a testament to the workers in the township and how fiscally responsible and prudent we operate as a township. And I just applaud you for all the work in making the budget as good as it is. So thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd just like to echo those comments. Not my first time. I've done it a couple times, but it's always a challenge just to make sure that we're looking at things in the right way. And Nancy leads those efforts, so thank you for that process. But it really is a testament to the work that goes in from the employees in the planning process to making sure that we're managing the business of our government in a way that does not or manages to impact our taxpayers with the most service at the minimal cost. And so I think we've done a pretty good job of managing that over the years. I think this budget continues that process in terms of making sure that we are not simply spending for the purpose of spending, but we're trying to keep the service levels where they are and being able to manage our appropriations So thank you to everyone that was part of the process. And it's another, in my view, another very, very strong budget.
Thank you for your work as usual. How many budgets is this now for you? Probably 7, 8, 10, who's counting? Anyone else in the dais? Okay, we'll now open up to the floor for any comments on the consent agenda.
Mary Elizabeth, 4 Hickory Hill Road.
Mhm.
The budget is in the consent agenda tonight, so I guess I'll ask my question about Sherman Tract first, because
Okay.
we're not separating out anything on this agenda, even though the budget's in here. It's all
Go ahead.
That's the motion that was
That's
taken.
fine.
All right, so Sherman Tract was originally phase 1 and 2 together. I think the redevelopment plan was for both phases.
No, there
So-
are always 2 phases separate.
There weren't always 2 phases, that I'm sure of, but,
There are always
But
2
anyway.
phases. And then Mr. Counselor, he's right over here. So, because we couldn't have a developer, Mr.
Shooter for development, it has to be.
You have to come to the microphone.
Is there a second microphone? We need the microphone.
There were always 2 phases of this project. From the day we acquired it, the objective was to maximize the number of affordable housing units we could do. The current plan is for 174 affordable housing units in 2 phases to be built by 2 different entities. The first one is phase 1. It's Concord Planning, which is a subsidiary of RPM Development. They normally set up separate individual entities for their various projects, but it is RPM, and it was always in 2 phases.
Thank you, sir.
so I believe, I understand it's in 2 phases now. I believe that the first, because it's all affordable, is going to be quote unquote a nonprofit developer. So we are only donating the land for that portion of it. And for phase 2, we are not.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
That hasn't been determined.
Right. So it means now
And
we're
I'm
about,
asking, yeah.
we're on phase 1, right? Counselor, that's it. Because that's the only one.
Determined yet about phase 2?
Phase 2 is going to also be all affordable.
Yes. But there's no transition of the land.
Who the developer will be and how the property will be transferred has not yet been determined.
Thank you for that clarification.
Mhm.
Back to the budget.
You can sit down now.
Okay, so back to the budget. Question, I didn't write all my questions down, so just give me a second here. In the presentation, because normally we get the presentation the month before, so just trying to, understand it all now in a very short time frame. You mentioned the additional assessed value. Can you tell us how many million the additional assessed value is? And what that resulted in additional assessment? That's usually a presentation, I think.
No, I don't have those numbers. They were provided by the tax assessor, but I'd be happy to get them for you, how much it went up.
All right, the next thing is, a while ago, probably back in April, when the government announced the American Rescue Plan, it was announced there would be $4 million.
3.9 for us.
3.9, sorry. So I guess the question is, what is the plan for that if we can't, I know some towns have said that they don't have enough direction yet to use the money. I think that was stated here in April. I don't know if that's changed, but does that mean that all that wasn't considered in the budget and so it's all going to go into surplus?
It can't be used in the budget. It has to be separate from the budget. It's not inclusive in the budget at all. Never
So-
will be.
If we didn't have extra expenditures last year due to COVID, are we going to be able to use that money?
There are 4 phases that we can look at to utilize that money. And you have, probably been through, you have infrastructure, you have lost revenue, you have charitable donations of some sort, right? And then the last one.
Broadband, right, infrastructure broadband.
And if I said infrastructure, broadband, sewer. So the devil in the details, Ms. Costa's been on several webinars and informations for the clarification of that, what can be used and how that money can be utilized. I've been on some, Mr. Ferrer's been on some. It is really, and it's over, we get the money, half the money, and then it's over 5 years, I believe, Ms. Costa, right, that we have to use that money?
Right.
Right.
The money has to be used by December 31st of 2024, but if you have an ongoing project, you have until the end of 2026 to spend that money. Say you were doing a huge sewer project in a town that had sewers, you'd have the extra. Anything that's in progress, you have till 2026. So basically, we have 5 years to spend, as of today, $4.181 million. And we'll get the first $2 million in the month of July. That money will sit separately from the budget. It will sit in a grant account. It will be completely separated from our normal operating funds, and it will be spent in that manner. And quarterly, we will report to the Division of Local Government Service on what we spent it on for their approval to make sure we're staying within the guidelines. So it'll be monitored by the state of New Jersey.
And we have to be very careful about if we spend it correctly, because if they kick it back.
It comes out of the budget.
It comes out of the budget.
Correct.
Yeah, I
So we have to
understand.
make sure it fits the parameters almost before we approve anything. But
Correct.
to your answer, so it's not in the budget. We still have plenty of time to come up with plans, but it's not an easy one size fits all for every municipality. We happen to be pretty fiscally solid as we just went through here.
Right.
So we can't use it for necessarily lost revenue like some other towns might be able to. So we're probably going to have to look at one of the other avenues to utilize the cash.
So we're going to have to spend it to use it. We can't use it, is what you're saying.
Got to spend it. Actually, there are some talks, if you don't spend it, they'll take it away.
I mean, spend it on new
No,
projects.
not all.
Not all.
There's some things that we.
There are some other
that
things,
we-
yeah.
So there will be some budget relief.
No, cannot be on budget.
It's not budget relief. It's almost like, but there
All
are
right.
things, as noted in those items, that if we were impacted, could be part of that. But there is also infrastructure that we could, those would be relatively new projects.
So if you want to go in, so if we put it on sewer repairs for just to pick something, right? We could use that. That would not be something we would have to spend township money for.
That's what, yeah.
So therefore, it's not going to affect the budget, but it's something that we possibly could use.
Okay. Okay. So this budget is roughly $2 million higher than last year. And our tax collection's about $500,000 higher than last year.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And we have a cap bank that's going to be about, in total, $900,000 that we're collecting.
Our tax collections over last year are $400,000 more. Last year, we were $20,060,000. This year, we're $20,460,000. So our taxes are going up $400,000 this year.
Okay. And our surplus
Mhm.
is also going up from 2.5 million to about 3 million?
Correct.
Okay.
The bulk of which is going to the capital improvement fund because we had a significant amount of surplus this year. And the determination was made by the finance committee and the recommendations that we put a lot more money into the capital improvement fund to help to pay for our routine capital purchases that we do through capital ordinances.
Okay. And I think the capital improvement fund is about twice as high as last year, right? Something like that?
The capital improvement fund right now is about $800,000
Okay. So we're definitely planning to use more of that next year, is what you're saying.
to, pardon me,
So we're definitely planning to use more of that next year.
more debt?
No.
I'm sorry.
more-
capital.
Do more capital.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Another question I have is, I don't know what page it's on, but there's something specified in here for the Fleming Drive project, the one we talked about the last meeting.
That was in the capital ordinance as a part of the
Is
capital.
that's part of that? Okay. So, and I think it's specified for this year, but it's also.
Half of it.
For next year, yeah. So I believe that plan may be changed after.
Well, it's on hold right now, so the funds are still sitting there. So if we should come up to some agreement, let's just say we come up with an agreement that money is appropriated for that project. If there's no agreement, then we would have to find other avenues to use that money, right?
Correct.
that were further down our list. That list was about 30 items long. We got to item 8, I think. And so it gets spent quickly. So there's other items that we could use if that project gets postponed, so to speak.
Okay. I think I'm gonna defer to
Okay.
and then come back because I do have some.
All right.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville. So the consent number 4 is the resolution adopting the 2021 municipal budget. And it says that the second paragraph, that all required documentation will be submitted to the Director of the Division of Local Government Services. But there's a resolution authorizing self-examination of the 2021 municipal budget. So this doesn't have to be approved by the Division of the Local Government Services.
The introduction of the budget did not have to be pre-approved. Normally, you would send it to them, they would approve everything and tell you you can adopt. Twice out of every 3 years, if we are found to be financially stable by the Division of Local Government Services, they authorize the CFO to basically swear that everything I've done, I have backup for, et cetera. And then when we adopt the budget, everything I would have pre-sent to them before this will be sent to them. So they will still get every document they normally would get. They just don't have to pre-approve the budget before we adopt it. They're going on good faith that we have everything we need to adopt the budget with. So there's no pre-approval process this year.
So when this municipality is considered in sound fiscal condition, that is based on your recommendation and what you say that the municipality is fiscally sound?
No, that's based on the audit that's submitted to the state of New Jersey annually by the outside auditing firm. It is based on that audit that they determine we're financially sound, certainly not by my recommendation.
And so when was that audit done?
The audit for 2019 was submitted before June 30th of 2020. The audit for 2020 is in the process of being done and is due by September 30th of this year. So based on that audit, they'll determine if we're financially sound for next year, which we are. I will tell you that next year we are not under self-exam because it's our 3rd year in the rotation. So next year, everything will have to be sent to the division upon an introduction, and then they have 4 weeks to review it, ask questions, and approve it and tell us, okay, you're good to adopt now.
So you said, was it a 3-year rotation?
It's a 3-year rotation.
So what
2
is that?
years, you self-exam, and 1 year, everything goes to the state before you're allowed to adopt.
So last year was a self-exam and this year is a self-exam?
Correct.
Okay. On the cover page of the municipal data sheet, it shows the municipal officials.
Correct.
It shows a date by Pamela Borick, municipal clerk.
Mhm.
Date of original appointment, I guess it is 12/12/2012. I don't know where Pamela's been lately. Has she been working on this budget? Is she going to be signing this?
She's been out on leave.
That's,
And that has nothing
with
to
all
do
due
with,
respect,
that has
that's,
nothing to do with the budget. It's all being done by our CFO. She's just,
So, but what is the purpose then of showing the municipal officials if they have nothing to do with the budget?
we have.
Doesn't the municipal
Because
clerk
she's the
sign
clerk-
this?
She's the clerk, and there's literally a line there that says clerk. So we have to put her.
Doesn't she have to sign this?
So as I was saying, there's a line, she's the clerk, she has to fill it out. Just like there's another line that says chief financial officer, and we wrote Miss Nancy Costa. There's a line that says mayor. Mayor Sean LaPandy's name goes there. It's literally what you have to do by the actual documents that are provided by the state. I don't understand the confusion.
I'm just asking, each of these officials has to sign this, you're saying, yes?
No, absolutely not.
There's-
Well, I don't
No.
understand what you were saying, Mr. You're kind of away from the microphone and
No,
I'm
I'm
not catching.
right. The
I'm not
microphone's right
catching what
here.
you're saying. Could you repeat that, please, then?
As I was saying, there's lines literally in the documents where you have to fill in each person's name. She is our clerk. Do you
Right.
agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
So it said,
as far as I know, I don't know what's going on. I haven't
She's
seen
still
her in
our
a long
clerk.
time.
so as we both agree, she is our clerk. So it
I
literally,
don't know. I don't know.
She
She
Are you
is.
telling me?
She is our clerk.
She is the clerk. All right.
Thank
You
you.
can't ask me
So-
because I don't know.
well, you keep cutting me off, so I was just trying to get us on the same thing so I could finish the statement. So she is our clerk. So the line that says clerk, we write Pam Borak,
Yes.
Pamela Borak, her complete name.
Right.
And the line that says mayor, we write Sean LePaney because he's the mayor. Where it says chief financial officer, we Miss Nancy Costa because these are their names and they put appropriately where they're supposed to go. My name's listed, Jeff's name's listed, the whole dais is listed. It's literally on the documents. We even put under municipality Hillsborough.
So does Pamela Borak have to sign this as the municipal clerk?
No.
No? Because I'm asking because I saw that in Manville Borough, when Pamela was there and she was the municipal clerk, she did sign the budget documents. That's why I'm asking. Also, for municipal officials, it shows what is that, certification number on the side?
That's our license numbers.
Okay. So I see that for the attorney, you don't have a license number here.
He's not involved.
What?
No, those are the licenses that we took state exams for and were issued licenses by the state of New Jersey. That's why my 2 license numbers on there, Pamela's license number is on there.
Okay. I have a question I have to ask. The township attorney, William Willard, is from the law firm of Senator Bateman.
He's one of the partners. It's not, there's many law firms there, but he's one of them. Yes.
Yes, so he's a partner in the Senator Bateman's law firm. Is that legal because Senator Bateman is senator for this District 16 for Hillsborough. So there's a lot of involvement in Hillsborough with the senator's law firm, the budget, open space.
We're not
tax
involved with the
appeals,
budget.
Tax appeals.
They're not involved with the budget. Senator.
Not involved with the budget.
Okay, all right, but you're listed here as the municipal official, the municipal attorney for Hillsborough. So I'm just asking.
The answer is yes.
Is
It's
this
perfectly legal.
for everything? So
He's
is
been
there any
doing
kind
it
of
for a long time.
requirement when it's the official for,
I
like
think
the
you
senator,
could-
is
I
there any
think-
kind of requirement for that through the state
Not that I'm
to do
aware of,
this?
but you're certainly welcome to go talk to someone in Trenton to see if there's any type of issue there. But I can assure you it's perfectly legal and we are not doing anything, unlike your insinuations, there is nothing untoward in our actions.
And I would just double that comment just to say that I could think of 4 or 5 very prominent members of the legislature on both sides of the aisle that represents numerous municipalities within the areas that they cover. So I can assure you that there's not any improprieties there, that it is perfectly legal. And like I said, both sides of the aisle participate in this when they represent their own municipalities or at the state level.
Okay, I asked a question. I'm not insinuating anything.
Ms. Jones, with all due respect, you
I
didn't
am
ask
not,
the question. You asked if
I
it
am
was
not
legal.
insinuating anything. I asked a question and all I wanted was an answer, and you're accusing me of
Well, I guess I would say
insinuating.
that Mr. Willard and his firm have been representing municipalities for some 30-plus years since he's been a senator. I think if
you go back
there
to
was-
Steve
I would think if
Steve
there was
Clinton's
any
father, it's probably been
impropriety,
100.
it would have been stopped a long time ago. So I think that the cat is out, and he's actually retiring in 3 months, but I think that question was really, if you think about the truth of it, that how long he's been in office and how long this firm has been representing municipalities, if there was something that you thought was not above board, it would have been found a long time ago. If you just really think about it and go back to what it was.
Okay, no, because I had asked when the reorganization meeting, how come the same firm is always appointed as the
It goes
township
out to bid,
attorney and
Goes
all
out
that
to bid.
stuff? Okay, all
and
right.
just
Thank
like you see every year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Miller, one more bite at the apple?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's Merrill Visitor for Hickory Hill Road. On page 18, there's a deficit in the Recreation Trust Fund of $252,000. What is that? Because
Because there was no summer camp, there were no programming during COVID. They are self-generating. They're not funded by the township. They generate their own programs,
So part of the budget replenishes that number.
which we could use some of that Affordable Care Act money. We could possibly go in to use it for that if we wanted to.
But the reality is there were no recreation programs last year, so there was no way to fund the trust fund.
Anyway, yeah, no camps, no anything, no soccer, no baseball, nothing.
Okay. And then the other question is also about recreation. There's an $80,000 listed in 2021 for salaries and wages of
What
commissioners.
page are you on? I'm sorry.
Page 15E.
Thank you.
$80,000 for salaries and wages of Board of Recreation commissioners. It's not in the prior year. Are they being paid now?
Board of Recreation?
No,
I got
that's for salaries.
It's for salary. We determined that the Director of Recreation does not really participate in programs, and therefore we moved his salary into the municipal budget where it belongs. For this year, upon the recommendation of the Township auditors, they suggested that we move him into the regular, because he's a department head. He works with social services, he works with recreation, he works with parks. So we've moved his salary into the municipal budget because it's not really appropriate to leave it in the recreation trust any longer.
Okay.
So we moved it from one side of the ledger to the other.
Yeah, it's still there, it's just in a different.
Different
line.
line item.
So this budget was paying for it last year and they're paying for it this year. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, but last year was out of the trust fund.
Okay,
Correct.
which is in deficit now. So-
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I guess overall, I know that you said a couple of times that we didn't have, more expenses and we didn't lose a lot of revenue during the pandemic. But we're still going into a budget that's $2 million in higher in spending next year. Taxes, residents, $400,000 more. Creates a surplus, which I think is a rainy day fund, and we were just saying that we didn't use it last year, that went from 2.5 million to over 3 million, which is a pretty big percent surplus for a budget this size, and increased our cap bank. And our taxes are going up. I hope there's no
Your taxes are not
misunderstanding
going
about that. I know the rate's gone down, but every year that's why I asked about the assessments. Every year, the assessments, I think some years I don't remember the numbers. So, as a resident, I'm still asking why there can't be some tax relief, especially after COVID, especially after people lost jobs. And if that could be considered. Because I know that there's a lot of nice slides and everything about how we could have charged, we could have gone to a higher cap bank and we didn't, but the fact is our taxes are going up. So,
But they're not though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only way your municipal taxes are increasing is if your home is worth more than it was prior.
I understand that.
But
I know the
so-
assessments.
But if the assessment has not changed, your taxes are not going up. So you're actually misstating that. They are not going up. They are actually going down.
Most of us have assessments that are going up.
That's not true.
So, okay. All right.
But
You haven't seen
I'm
your-
not-
Speak for myself.
I'm not trying
My
to be
taxes are going
difficult, but to say that your taxes are going up is simply not accurate. They're actually going down in a stable environment.
Okay. I'll just speak for myself. My taxes are going up. I know many people.
We haven't seen your assessment for next year, correct?
Well, Ms. Bisbee, also, we'll just say that
That's-
the state of New Jersey isn't offering any relief for those all affected by COVID, because you have to run business, right? The county is not offering any relief. They kept it basically a flat tax. They didn't reduce it much. So, and the school system obviously is having to hold their tax at whatever they hold it for. So our particular little portion has been, as presented for the last 10 or 15 years, on a downward trend as opposed to an upward trend, whereas many other taxes have been the other direction.
I will say, as we all know, the federal budget increased dramatically this year. You have, or the supplemental, it's not a complete budget yet. The state budget, which is being adopted on Thursday and hopefully being signed into law before June 30th, that's going up dramatically as well, partly because of the CARE Act, but a ton of money being put in because we now have $10 billion that are higher in fees come in, plus we borrowed another $9 billion last year from the state. So all these funds are being quite exasperated. The difference here, again, is, though, you can't argue the fact that the tax rate is being decreased. And if your property value doesn't increase, you will see a tax increase. Do you agree? If your
From
tax
everybody
rate
else
is,
but us.
if you're passing a budget with a lower tax rate, correct,
Yeah.
and you see no increase in your assessment, then it's a tax decrease,
My
right?
assessment's gone up every year for the last 8 or 9 years. Ask anybody.
Well,
I
that's
don't know
that's
what we're
not
talking
true.
about
That's simply not true.
theoreticals.
There are several properties in town that do that. Now, and as someone who I can tell you, I watched real estate, you can laugh, but this is a fact. I know there is knowing what's going on in the real estate market, I can assure you, you're going to see a constricting of the real estate market within the next year. And you're going to see all these properties start decreasing in value. That's a simple fact. That's the way it going. Real estate is cyclical. If you remember back to 2008 when the bubble burst and all these properties dramatically dropped in real estate value, that's probably heading this way again. That's just the reality. And we're going to see this happening again.
Okay.
But is
So
it a
Mayor
tax
Connie, I just
decrease?
want to address one thing. I think small businesses got a tremendous amount of federal aid, including here in Hillsborough. So
Some business applied for it, some didn't.
Right.
Obviously,
But they
the small businesses, they, again, and their tax rate has been reduced, just like everybody else, the tax rate. But I guess, there's no free money. We're all paying for it somehow, right? So they've got the aid, but somewhere that money has to come from somewhere. Whether we do it, the state does it, the county does it. Right now the money is a relief and a lifeline for people to stay in business for those who are struggling. I agree. But eventually those monies have to be paid back somehow, probably by our kids or whatever, but there's no free lunch.
right. And some
Okay.
of those business owners are homeowners also,
I am one.
Yeah.
I am, but some are homeowners in Hillsborough and some aren't.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I got on this dais was as a business owner in town. But listen, as paying the municipal share of my taxes as a business versus the other part of my taxes as a business and being double taxed by some places, I will take Hillsborough's taxes over the rest of them as a business owner, since you brought it up.
But I'd like to, so is it your belief that if your assessment is higher, you shouldn't pay more?
Well, it's the budget, right? I mean, you guys just finished saying that last year, we didn't, on a municipal level, we didn't suffer from the pandemic. The budget's $2 million higher for next year. The cap is going up and the surplus is going up. And it's a pretty big surplus. I'm just saying, isn't there some consideration to have taxes actually really go down?
Our revenue increased by the building in town. And our as Ms. Cost said, all the filings and that we received, the UCCs and stuff. So if there wasn't the building in town, we probably wouldn't be as in a good position right now as we are. But that's part of the result of all the stuff that's being built up that we have. So we get revenue from those dollars, right? From all those properties.
Right. But those, hopefully, and it's always been an issue in Hillsborough, if there's more commercial properties, then it's a relief for the residents. So
Well,
I don't think that's happening yet, but
those ratables go up, but fortunately, most of the rails weren't commercial. They're homes.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Merrill. One more time? Okay, last bite.
This is the last one.
Maria Janusik. Consent number 2, resolution to renew township liquor licenses for the 2021-2022 license term. There is one licensee, Polish Falcons of America Corporation, and they're doing business on 140 Falcon Road. And the license number ends with 004.
Okay.
That property is what was referred to as the Polanka, and I'm sure everyone knows what
Polish Falcon Camp, yeah.
that property is, because I think there have been different kinds of functions also held by Hillsborough over there. So originally, the licensee was Polish Falcons Camp Incorporated, and now it's Polish Falcons of America Corporation. And also the liquor license number has changed. It used to be the last 3 numbers, 003, now it's 004. So I was a member of the Polish Falcons of America organization for many years. And when that license was a change of corporate structure on that license, and the license was 003, Now it's 004, so I just wanted to find out what happened to the other license and why the licensee has changed from Polish Falcons Camp Incorporated to Polish Falcons of America Corporation.
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
The last digit, that 003 to 004, is still the same license. So when we put together this resolution, what we did was we took all of the applications for renewal from the alcohol beverage control online system where they apply for it, and we use the numbers as they record them. So I'm going to say probably at some point along the line, it was that they did transfer, a person-to-person transfer, because it was a name change. It's still the same license.
I don't think there was a person-to-person transfer. When there was a change of corporate structure, the number was 003. And
Okay,
there were-
but that
and there were
would
renewals.
cause a person-to-person transfer. If they're changing anything, it's still the same license, but they have to
The
go through
whole
the process.
application, I have the whole application showed 003. Renewals since the change of corporate structure have been 003. It's within the last,
Yeah, Ms.
Just by
Shasta,
the
I think
third-
what
It really
she's trying-
doesn't.
I think what she's
It's the
trying
same
to tell
license.
you is if there's a transfer, even for a name change or a
Mhm.
corporate change, she said person to person, but that means, an entity to entity or whatever it may be. If there's that transfer, that last digit will change. That's why.
this transfer occurred in 2013 maybe, and it had the number 003 at the time of transfer, and nothing has happened since then that would cause.
It may just not have been
number.
updated.
We get that number from the state,
I got the number from the state.
so that comes from
That
the
is the
state, Ms.
number.
Janusik. So if you have a question, maybe detect to them.
So is there a copy of the application for renewal in the township?
No, that's all done through the state.
So you have no records whatsoever for this licensee, for the license for this location, 140 Falcon Road?
They apply through the state. We log in and we can see all the applications that are there. Our police do a background check. They make sure everything is above board. The township receives a payment. We write a resolution, and that's it. The applications don't come through us. We can access them. We don't hold that record.
It's not our license, it's owned by the
It's
ABC.
through the state.
Only because it's a Hillsborough Township license, and so I would think
We
that
don't,
there's some kind of record.
it's a state license.
What?
It's a state license. It's not, they apply through the state. We just facilitate the application process. We don't issue, it's done through the state.
So
They apply through the
so
state.
renewal of the application is done online?
Yes.
And you don't have a copy of that here?
No.
Okay. Consent number 6, resolution authorizing the sale of certain real property designated as Block 86, Lot 21.01, located within the Township of Hillsborough, to Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates LP as the redeveloper of same, and authorizing the mayor and township clerk to execute any and all necessary documents or agreements to effectuate the terms and conditions of this resolution. And in the first paragraph, the property, it says property commonly referred to as Block 86, Lot 21, and Block 90, Lot 6.01. But then in the second paragraph, we're talking about Block 86, Lot 21.01. So where does this 21.01 come in when in the first paragraph, you're referring to Block 86, Lot 21, and Block 90, Lot 6.01?
I think you read it yourself, is that in the whereas, we're talking about block 86, lot 21.01.
Right.
Right.
So where does that come from when you're talking about in the first paragraph that Hillsborough was the owner of certain parcels of property commonly referred to as Block 86, Lot 21,
Yep,
and Block 90, Lot 6.01?
correct.
So
Two
then
different
in the
lots.
second
And I believe we're
paragraph-
talking, as you mentioned, about block 86, lot 21.01, which is the section in the second paragraph where the
In the
whereas.
first paragraph, it's Block 86, Lot 21.
Yes.
That's the whole site.
And then we said and then you say and there's a second one. But we're talking about, in the second paragraph, block 86, lot 21.01, as you just read.
So
Saying
there's
the same
multiple
thing.
lots on that site. We are selling a particular part of that, Mr.
No, go ahead, sir.
We are selling a particular portion of those lots, 86 point, 21.01, right? 80, lot 21.01, which is the first phase of the Sherman track, which has been the same lot and block number since you've been coming to the planning board, I don't know,
But it's
2016,
it's not,
19?
it's not clear in this resolution
It may
because
not,
you're
Pretty-
talking
pretty clear
about
to
block
me.
86, lot 2101, and then you're saying that
no, hold on.
the parcel
Mr.
of
Bernstein.
property commonly referred to as block 86, lot 21. So where does lot
Right,
21.01 come in?
which it says that is owned by we're the owner of certain parcels, lot 86, lot 21, and as Mr. Thompson noted, the next point says we've appointed Concord as a redeveloper for block 86, lot 21.01. I'm not sure what confusing is. There's a big block that we own, and we took this little piece, and Concord's gonna take that as the
So you
redeveloper.
took a little piece, so you're saying that 21 is now, part of it is 21.01. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
There's going to be a subdivision of land, I would just suspect.
And so it's being sold to Concord for how much?
As the ordinance says,
$1.
$1.
For $1. And how much did Hillsborough Township
ordinance,
pay
I'm
for this property?
It was all purchased, I don't know exactly, but it was all purchased with monies from our Affordable Housing Trust Fund for this purpose of putting out 100% affordable housing, which will allow us to meet our affordable housing mandate / plan and eliminate a bunch of homes being built elsewhere in the town. So the transfer of the dollar was part of the area in need of redevelopment, but I don't know what the exact amount was back in the day. Possibly you might have it in your records because you've opened it probably at least once. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
Yeah, Mayor, I believe it was about 2.2 million.
So the property was purchased by Hillsborough Township for $2.2
No,
million.
As in the trust fund, not taxpayer money, because I know where you're going. So I want to be clear on this. It came out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which is monies that all the developers, whenever there's a development that goes in, they're obligated to provide money into a trust fund. That's where that comes from. It's not tax money. It's not going to come out of open space. It didn't come out of our budget. So I just want to be clear that that's the case.
Okay, but it says the Township of Hillsborough is the owner. So how did the Township of Hillsborough become the owner if the
We
money was
purchased
from
it
the
with the money from the trust
trust
fund.
fund?
We're the custodians of the trust fund.
So we are custodians of the trust fund. We took that money and bought the land and designated area in need of redevelopment. We'll rewind back again to 2015 or 19, whenever it was. We found it, and then after that, we took proposals to build an affordable housing project there with the understanding that the land would be transferred at $1. They applied for grants through the state of New Jersey, and they received it, RPM, otherwise known as Concord. And then they've got their approvals to build that. They went through the planning board, went through the planning process, which you were at. Now the last piece of the puzzle, which you've been asking, I don't know how long, did we sell the property yet? It is happening. So now today is the day that it is happening for $1.
So you're saying RPM is Concord Street Urban Renewal?
Yes. So let me put it this way. You know what General Motors is, right?
Yes.
And then there's Buick, and then there's Cadillac, and then so RPM is General Motors. Concord is Pontiac or Cadillac. Same company, just works underneath. And many developers, when they do jobs, I'll just use another one, Larkin Associates. Whenever they do a project, they create another company to run that project, all under the Larkin umbrella. Same process.
How does the Concord Street Urban Renewal, how are they entitled to buy this property for $1?
That was in the
Because
agreement.
they're helping us facilitate the affordable housing plan that we've all agreed to as part. And this development is 100% affordable. And in order to facilitate that, we could have taken the 2.2 million out of the trust fund and built houses. Instead, we're allowing RPM or Concord to do that for us as part of this project. So we're providing the land.
And this, all of the property that's going to be built is rentals. So who gets the rental money?
Concord.
Concord. So Concord can buy it for $1, they can build, and then they get rental income after paying $1 for Hillsborough.
Well, they have to
Township
build, they
property.
have to pay all the building costs. That is, so they have to build and maintain and supervise the project over the entire span. So, it's going to take them some while to recoup the money back that they invest to build this project. It's not like they're all of a sudden they're just getting a windfall of cash. They have all the other costs that you'd have to build a project. The only thing that they were granted relief was the cost of the land, which we used from we said, from the trust fund, which we got from other builders who paid into the trust fund in lieu of building affordable housing if it didn't work, if they couldn't fit it in the project.
So in the recent affordable housing, the ordinance regarding affordable housing, there's a mention in there about having to account to the state for money that's used from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Did this money have to be accounted for to the state?
Absolutely, everything.
So there's
Because they have to have that money, because they had to apply to the state to get the grant.
They applied to the state to get which grant?
They get a grant for tax relief.
Federal tax financing. Yep.
Federal tax relief to build the project because it's 100% affordable.
So they applied to the state for a grant for federal tax relief.
Correct, Mr. Bernstein. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Maybe that we can, since you're standing.
Let's try this. RPM as the designated redeveloper for the site, they have created an entity which is not uncommon for affordable housing and other development projects called Concord Urban Renewal LLP. They have applied for what is known as low-income housing tax credits, a program created by the federal government, financed through the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency, which they received credit approval for, I believe it was last year, because the funding for this year has not yet come. They are the designated developer. We use, as indicated, Affordable Housing Trust Fund money out of the Housing Trust Fund, reviewed by the court and approved. It was all part of our affordable housing plan. And to go through this process to create the 87 units by what would be a standard inclusionary development would probably be another 300 market rate units built just for that number. Because the normal requirement is 20%, though Hillsborough did it at 24%, so we could reduce the total number of market units as compared to the affordable. But in order to build 87 affordable housing units, a normal, I put in quotes, developer would probably have to build somewhere near 400 total units in order to build the 87 we're having built here today. For basically, yes, it is a part of the standard. Hillsborough is not special. I know we consider ourselves to be one of the best places to live, but when it comes to affordable housing, it is standard operating procedure for a municipality to transfer the property for $1 to the entity to create the project. I have done it in a number of towns, not just in Hillsborough. It has been ongoing since 1975, and this has been going on, and it is not special here. So what you've all done and what we are doing tonight is, I won't say the culmination, but another step in the process of trying to get phase one built.
Thank you.
And in support of Mr. Bernstein, that he's not running amok here. We represent many municipalities, and it's pretty common in municipalities, in order to get a developer to do a 100% affordable project, is for the township to acquire the land and then donate it to the developer to, in other words, construct a project. Because what developer do you know who would buy a property at market value and then decide to put 100% affordable units on it? Why do that when I can buy a property at market value and put market rate units on it? Why would I do that? So there's got to be some incentive. There's got to be some financial reason for me to do it. How does that happen? The municipality facilitates it. How do they facilitate it? They get the property and then they donate it to the developer, and then the developer constructs the 100% affordable housing. And as a matter of fact, that's not the only piece of the puzzle that the developer wants. Many of these are contingent upon them getting that tax credit financing that Mr. Bernstein talked about. If they don't get that tax credit financing, they won't build the project, because they need that to make the project work. They need the donation of the property from the municipality, and they also need that tax credit financing. And if they don't get it, they won't build it.
I have a quick question. With regards to that, is it always capped, meaning like kept in the program for low-income
Oh,
housing?
yeah, this is going to be, yes, this is going to be affordable housing, yes.
So it's not for profit.
It's going to be affordable housing development.
It's in the name.
Any other questions?
I get it.
So what happened with the other rest of the land that isn't 21.01?
As noted earlier, we haven't made that determination yet.
We still own it.
We'll make it public.
Isn't there a M&M Realty? Aren't they supposed to be?
It's not this property as of right now.
It's not Block 86, Lot 21.02?
It's not decided yet.
It's not decided.
Still in litigation, as our attorney would like to say, still in negotiation. Okay?
I'm sorry, that property is in litigation?
Well, it's all part of our affordable housing negotiation. Well, I don't know if Mr. Bernstein,
The property has been subdivided.
right.
There is a proposed agreement. We still have not yet designated the entity or any other entity because
Right.
they could subdivide that to another entity to develop the other half of the affordable. It is currently subdivided in the current plan is for either M&M Realty or some entity thereof, but they have not yet been determined by this committee to be a redeveloper for the purposes of that property.
You'd have to go through the whole same process, so it takes time.
And so the Block 86, Lot 21.01 development was approved by the court?
The whole project, yes. It had to be approved by the fair share and by the special court master and everybody.
Okay, and so the court being Judge Thomas C. Miller?
That's one of the people, yes. He's the judge, and the court master, Beth McManus, and Fair Share Housing all had to sign off on it.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to close
So moved.
and adopt, thank you. Second, roll call, please.
Committeeman Erickson.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Committeeman Wright.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor LaCour.
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. There are no claims lists for tonight, but we do, I guess we're past the 7:30 time, so
We are.
we can go right into our pre-qualification public hearing. Thank you, Mr. Bernstein and Ms. Costa. You are free to go.
Thank you, Ms. Costa. Great job.
Thank you.
Public hearing pursuant to New Jersey SA 40A:11-25 on the pre-qualification regulations for potential bidders for Phase 4 window and shutters and lead paint abatement of the historic Vanderveer Harris House located in Hillsborough Township. The township is preparing to advertise for bids for the repair and replacement of windows and shutters and lead paint abatement at the Vanderveer Harris House located at 344 Route 206 in Hillsborough Township. Due to the historic status of the building and the specialized nature of the work, we first need to establish a pre-qualified pool of bidders that meet the requirements contained in the pre-qualification regulations and questionnaire. The pre-qualification package consists of a list of questions soliciting the contractor's experience with historic renovations projects of this scope. The local public contracts law 40A:11-25 through 34 requires the township committee to hold this public hearing to take comments and or questions from any interested party on the pre-qualification requirements. Within 10 days after the completion of this hearing, the proposed regulations and a record of this hearing will be forwarded to the Director of Division of Local Government Services for the Director's approval. Once the state approves the pre-qualification package, it will be made available to any and all interested contractors. Once the pre-qualification packages are submitted to the township, our project architect will evaluate them and make recommendations. After we have all the lists of pre-qualified contractors, only those contractors will be allowed to bid on the project. Number one, resolution adopting the pre-qualification regulations questionnaire for Phase 4 windows and shutters and lead paint abatement on the Vanderveer Harris House. May I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any,
Mayor.
oh,
Can I open it up? Any comments or questions?
okay. Well, I will then make a motion to open to public for any comments or questions.
So moved.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any questions regarding the, what would you call it, Mr.
Qualification.
Pre-qualification hearing questionnaire? All right, seeing none, motion to close public?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All right. May I have a roll call, please? Adopt.
Committeewoman Erickson.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Committeeman Wright.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Delacour.
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. We have now reached a moment for adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, we got to do the.
You got to do the
Do
resolution.
the resolution
Oh.
adopting.
Okay, did I miss
So
that?
we closed the hearing.
Motion to approve the resolution and adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Erickson.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Committeeman Wright.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Delacour.
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. Now we are at the adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right. We are adjourned. It is
Thank you all.
8:52. Hillsborough, New Jersey, celebrating 250 years of a rich history. Hi, I'm Mayor Sean LaPlante, and I'm proud to showcase Hillsborough, one of the best places to live in America. From the preserved farms that help feed the world, to the Vanderveer House, to the John R. Stott's house, restored and currently utilized for business, to the magnificent and world-famous Duke Farms, where you can walk or ride a bike through their historic grounds, to the iconic Neshannock Reformed Church, and just down the road is our fabulous Neshannock Mill, located right on the picturesque Raritan River. You're invited to visit Hillsborough, a great place to live, work, play, and do business anytime. And experience over 250 years of proud history in Hillsborough, New Jersey.